Back in June of 2024, a couple months back, I graduated with a degree in finance, and I'm in New York, so I knew this degree was a very potent degree. One of the first things I did before choosing my major, I didn't just choose it randomly. I chose it based off the location I was in. New York is a financial hub, and so I knew finance was going to be a place I was destined to get a job, and it'd be high paying. Because when you go to college, you should only really go if you know what major you want, if you're like passionate about the industry, and that you know you're gonna be able to land a job. That's so important, and like you have like a high corporate ladder to climb, essentially, right? Like lawyers, doctors, finance, accounting. If you don't choose one of those four, it's really not even worth going to college. The last one is like, if you really don't want to go to college but you want to make a lot of money, go into sales. Like if you're not choosing any of those five, you're kind of frying yourself. Or IT, my bad, that's like one of the best ones. But again, you can even get into a lot of these IT jobs. They give you jobs without even having a degree. Anyway, so I had gotten my degree in June, and I was working in an accounting position, right? Just like some shit job that was just like an office job that I was like, I'm just gonna do this for now until I finish my degree. I was working that job while finishing my degree. I was doing them both at the same time. And I thought as soon as I got my degree, I would be able to get out, I could get way higher of a pay and just start climbing the ladder, right? And I knew the struggle that was gonna come with it, like the hour and a half commuting, and I was gonna have to climb the ladder. But for whatever reason, I don't know why I didn't think this through. I wish someone would have told me, but you learn all these lessons on your own. You go to college to essentially skip. In my head, I thought that if I went to college and I got this degree, I got a 3.6 GPA, which is like pretty high for finance, and like they all want 3.5, 3.2 at minimum, and I had above average. And so I thought I'd be able to land a job and eventually just climb the corporate ladder very fast. I thought I'd be starting at 80, 90, 95K maybe. Like, I'm wilding. Maybe like 80, 90K. But it was like, I thought I would be able to get a lot more money. But what was happening was I was at my job, that job I was getting was like 50K a year. Horrible, right? But it was like I was obviously, I didn't have my degree, so I was like, what, this probably makes sense. This is how much people the average person is making who doesn't have a degree. That's why I was getting my degree, right? And I was just doing this to get some cash. I didn't really need it. And so, but as soon as I got my degree, months and months and months, I applied. I sent out at least 1,000 applications, and at least 900 of them I didn't even hear anything back, because a lot of them are just ghost applications, which is just like they put it up because they need to as a company. None of these people are actually trying to hire you. The few that I heard back from were all rejections. Every single fucking day I was getting rejections. I changed my resume every single day. I tailored them. I had multiple. I was writing cover letters. I was doing everything you possibly did. I was on all the websites, LinkedIn, Indeed, Aura. I was on everything. And so I was like, what the fuck is like why did I get this degree thinking that it was going to help me get out of this job position that I didn't want to be in anymore? It was a shit position. I knew I could handle way more complex work. The work was so stupid and menial, and it's like that's the type of work you're gonna do if you don't have a degree or whatever. But it just pissed me off so much. And so every day I was applying to 15 to 20 jobs every fucking day for 3, 4, 5 months. And and then one day it all fucking clicked, and that's the reason I quit my job, and now I'm just working on being an entrepreneur, because it's literally the only way out. Because, and like, I know a lot of people will be like, oh, you're crazy, why'd you quit your job? You just got your 4-year degree. Like, I thought about all this for months on end, right? Like, I was like, I got this degree, I should definitely at least pursue it and, like, get myself safety net and get some experience so that I could eventually go back. But the way the information I was being exposed to, which I feel like is so important that so much people don't ever really come across until it's exposed to them, it just happened to be this stuff that I was consuming. I was reading lots of books, I was reading lots of articles, I was watching lots of YouTube videos. And so I was naturally in like the business space and the entrepreneur space, because I always had like a natural inkling to work for myself, make as much as I wanted to, right? And even no matter what job I had, I've had over 10 jobs. All the jobs I've excelled at, they all told me I was way too smart for these jobs, but I was like, yeah, but I'm just finishing my degree so I could get out of here or whatever. And they knew this too. But it's like every job I had, I excelled at. Every job I picked up the knowledge and skills I needed to so very quickly. So it was like, every job I had felt so underwhelming. The amount of money I was making was never the amount I actually wanted to make. It was never ideal. So I was like, this just can't be it. Everything always felt off until and I was also on Instagram, and I was like making content just to like see what was gonna happen. And I literally had gotten in 1 month 40 million views, which is like fucking insane numbers for people who was creating content at the time. And I was like, the fucking internet is so powerful. I don't understand. And like, I wasn't monetizing, right? So I was just doing it just to do it, because I didn't want to be like salesy or whatever. But that's because I didn't have a true understanding of monetization and business, which is just, it's so much simpler than you would think. It's like, business isn't a bad thing. Business is solutions to problems. Every business that sells a solution, right? Like when every time you're hungry, every fast food store is there to solve the problem of your hunger. When you want better communication, that's what Apple is there for, right? To give you, sell you a phone, right? Every business is a solution. But it's like we grow up in the society thinking that like businesses are bad and salespeople are bad. But it's like you just had a few bad interactions with salesmen and they're trying to like cut themselves a check or out of commission. But nonetheless, all of that shit doesn't even matter. It's just with the internet in modern time, you have so much access to people all around the world, which means you can give value to so much people around the world, and it can literally, you can be an entrepreneur, you can be a business owner without having like this big complex company, have this big business like a brick and mortar store. You don't need any of that anymore. You don't need to pay for rent, you don't need to pay for inventory, you don't need to pay for employees. You can do everything just using the internet. There's all these tools and there's media to get reach, and it's just, I know everything I'm saying might just sound super complex. I don't want to go into detail because this makes no sense to, but it's like, truly understand what you're doing if you have a job. And like, people will still think I'm crazy because they'll be like, oh, why would you quit your job? You just got your degree. But it's like, I didn't pursue that path anymore because after months and months of applying, I finally got an application and I was moving in the third round and I knew I was about to quit my job. And so I was like, it's either this job or nothing. I knew I was going to end up getting the job because the interviews were going really well and it was going to give me $60K. Brother, I worked at that place for a year, got my degree for a $10K jump. Are you fucking kidding me? Bro, I just went to school for 4 years, you're gonna give me $60K. And I knew this was like for everybody because everybody was like, I'm not landing jobs. And the few people that were all starting at the fucking bare minimum. Why would I go to school for 4 years, work for the past 4 years? I've been working, going to school and going to the gym all this time, being able to have so much to be able to provide, and I'm reading books, I'm learning all this stuff, for me to only have fucking made $10K extra. And I was gonna have to, my commute was gonna change from 15 minutes to an hour and a half. Going and then coming back, like 3 hours of my life every day, 8 hours doing some bullshit, and I would be starting at the bottom of the corporate ladder. And what, at max, that people that I knew who were in the industry working for 5 to 10 years were at max making 130 if they got to that position. Most of them weren't even crossing 6 figures. Like, realistic, think about that. You spend 4 years in your education to then get a job to start to an entry-level pay, 60K, and after 5 years, maybe, just maybe, you would break 100. Maybe? Are you fucking kidding me? 5 to 10 years, you won't even be making 100K and you would still be paying taxes. You would have no assets being built. And it just pissed me off so much because when I was getting exposed to all this information and I was like, wait, all that shit does actually make sense because that's what reality was like, right? Nobody was telling me that how hard it is to actually get a job, how annoying it is to do interviews, how shit it is to have to interact with all these like other employees within your office. It's like, there's so much bullshit that you can't even like figure out while you're still in college. You just think, oh, everything's gonna be fine, But it's like, no, the fucking real world is nothing like that. These fucking colleges teach you bullshit education that doesn't actually help you in the real world. You gain no skills and you start at the very fucking bottom. That's where you start at entry level. Your resume doesn't mean shit. Your education on your resume doesn't mean shit. You know, when you graduate, you would think you would put your education at the top of your resume, but it goes at the bottom because these fuckers don't even give a fuck about your education. Like, what was the fucking point? That degree, they don't even check for it. And so it's like all of these things just kept stacking up. I'm like, for me to really believe that it would take me 5 years to actually make it as an entrepreneur online is so fucking ridiculous because there's people who make 100K a month as an online entrepreneur, right? Once you like get into the space, you understand how much easier and simpler it actually is. Like, the way society makes it, oh, it's so scary, you gotta work 70, 80 hours. It's like, it's not like that at all. The people that are saying that are people who don't even own businesses. So why would you listen to them? So it's like, once you start actually getting into the nitty gritty of yourself, like actually doing the research, you start realizing, wait, what the fuck? This shit is a lot simpler than you would actually fucking think. And that's why I'm constantly working towards it every single day now. And every day is just getting more and more simpler. But it's just like, I can't believe I spent 4 years trying to get educated in finance when I learned fucking nothing. I spent a year at this dog shit job and 9 other jobs just learning all this bullshit. Self-education is the future. The internet is the future. Eventually, everybody's going to slowly, like, you can already see how much things are shifting to the online space. Cryptocurrency is digital money. Everywhere you're paying with Apple Pay, you're not actually paying with physical cash. Everybody's depositing checks through their phone. Like, everything's slowly becoming digital. With enough time, the internet will be the exact place where everybody's working. I just know that for a fact. It's like, you have to put yourself in future positioning, right? If you're not, you're just setting yourself up for failure, especially with how bad retirement is. But it's like, really, if you're watching this video, I really hope you get something out of it. You get motivated enough to like really look into online business because it's really the only way for you to escape modern slavery, that being the fucking job world. Do not follow traditional paths. You are in the future already. Future positioning, you will win in the end. I'm telling you, focus on online business while you still have your job and eventually get out. You need to get out. You need to wake up. If you don't, you're gonna struggle. In the end, we're all gonna fucking